Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'll call the October 8th, 2014 Commissioners meeting to order. I ask for any additions to the agenda. I got some correspondence here that I'd like to bring up. But first of all, we'll have public input. Anybody for public input? Seeing none, then we will move to correspondence and also to review of the minutes. I have a letter here from Brokaw, I believe, Sandra Brokaw, Ad hoc Committee for the Reuse of the Annex Kitchen. Says, Dear Commissioner Sorensen, thank you for allowing us some time to explore the reuse of the kitchen in the old county nursing home, the Annex. With some minor work, this 2,000 square foot commercial kitchen space has the potential for use as a site for renewed food production. Following the August delegation meeting, 2 tours of the facility were conducted with individuals who could provide input on the feasibility of such reuse. Additionally, I attended one meeting with the Delegation Annex Subcommittee in September to obtain additional information. An ad hoc committee composed of individuals from around the state has formed to explore the feasibility of reuse as a privately run food production facility. The committee's members are Rick DeMark from North Country Council, and if anybody wants to look at these, I'd be glad to share that with them. We have prepared a flyer for distribution within our respective networks to identify those individuals and businesses who might be interested in use of the space. To assist us in preparing further information and in pre-screening individuals and businesses responding to our flyer, we have some important questions which need to be answered. The commissioners are the best source for these answers. Please see the attached list. I am available to meet with you to discuss these questions at your convenience. Sandra J.F. Brokaw, B-R-O-C-A-R. She has listed 10 different questions. Again, I'm not going to go through those. Anybody wants to look at them, I will have them here on the table.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
How are we going to go about answering these?
You want to start on with work session and answering these questions? And trying to answer some of
Either
them?
that, or we get 10 questions, we each take 3, and go get them answered and come back next week, or, I mean, some of them are extensive.
Some of them are, yeah.
Are there any excessive restrictions? Time of day, vehicles, so we're gonna have to check with everybody on that.
We need to check with the water source.
Does the insurance
Limitation.
policy cover? I mean, it isn't, this is more than one person's assignment.
Wastewater treatment system, we
Yep.
need to check.
They're excellent questions.
Yes, they are.
And for the record, the brochure is attached. If you'd like one, Melissa, when we're done. Okay. Well, let's think about how we're gonna do that.
Well, let's talk about it in the work session.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of, you wanted to do that next, right?
Go ahead.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes of October 1st.
I can't, I
As-
wasn't here, so I
as
can't,
corrected. Oh, yeah, gotta wait.
you gotta wait. But there is a correction.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of corrections as well, so.
Mr. Sorensen was absent, but yet he
I didn't-
seconded the motion
You got
to
that
adjourn,
correction?
so you got
I
that?
Okay.
circled that, and then
Okay.
in the list of attendees, under the others present, Nick Vazana,
Yeah.
is that
Vazano?
the candidate for state rep,
Yep.
right? He was here also
he
in the
was.
public, and I left his name off.
Okay,
And
all right,
then,
bring that up when.
okay, do the other corrections later, or?
You got more?
I don't have any more. We can do
You
the
can make the
corrections.
corrections if you want, go
Okay,
ahead.
on the first page on C, under the sheriff's office grants, on the motion, Kenny moved to approve and sign
Yeah,
instead of the sign. And then,
You on the second page? or-
no, I'm on the first.
First page.
Here, I'll just show you here. There's an and and is.
Oh, up above, okay, I'm sorry.
I've marked them, so there's an and then there's an is in the last paragraph. And I didn't find anything on the second page. Just a couple
Oh, it's
little
supposed to be and, gotcha.
grammar quirks.
that's all the corrections?
That's all I found.
Okay. All right, I got another correspondence. Regarding review requests for first scenic byways draft documents and next meeting. This is to the Carroll County Commissioners. Although I have not received notice affirming either way in regards to whether the Carroll County Commissioners wish to be a member of the North Country Scenic Byways Council, I will keep you in the loop while you decide whether to agree to participate but not designate a representative at this time, or 2, agree to participate and designate a representative, or 3, decline to participate and affirmatively reject membership in the group. Attached, please find a draft version of the River Heritage Trail Scenic Byway Corridor Management Plan, Goals and Implementation Document. This draft goals and implementation document is part of the corridor management planning being developed for the River Heritage Trail. And I guess I'd leave this up here, so if anybody wanted to look at that, they could. And there's a document that goes with it, instead of reading it all.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I don't understand this. I discussed this, with somebody, or we did here, and we decided we didn't want to be, we wanted to be part of it, but not send a representative.
Yeah,
And I signed that down in the office, I don't know.
I'll check with
Did I put it on
with
your
Cheryl,
desk, or?
because I think we agreed to participate but not designate a representative.
Yes.
Yeah. That was my take
I
on
thought
it.
Cheryl sent it, but maybe we didn't.
All right, so that's up here to look at as well.
Okay.
Okay, I guess the next item, September 10th, October 1st.
Hey, Willie.
I guess Will, you'll be next.
Good morning.
Good morning, Will.
Just got a couple of quick things to pass those down.
Hey, Will, what have you done about the green truck?
I got one here for Commissioner Kenney, one of those to be passed to Melissa if it's possible. The green truck?
Yeah.
Um,
Part it out, or you gonna, what are you gonna do?
Gonna get rid of it.
yeah, we're gonna get rid of it.
You gonna junk it? I thought we decided you'd try to do what you did in the last one and made more money.
Well, I thought that too, but, you know, I had one person telling me to scrap it and get rid of it, get it out of here for the delegation, and the other one telling me, well, let's give them a chance to part it out and everything. So I was kind of confused when I left that meeting of what I need to do. So I would prefer a little bit of guidance from the two of you of what you would like me to do.
What do you think? Can you get money for the pots versus getting,
I certainly can try. I don't see how it's going to hurt.
you got time to do it?
As we slow down and it gets further into the fall, yes.
Well, then let's.
We've
do
been
that.
real busy, but if you're in a hurry to get it out of here, I can make a call and have it gone by the end of the week.
All I want is some progress being done,
Sure.
that's all.
Yep.
Once you put it and see if you can part it out, and if you can't, then get rid of it.
Okay.
See if you get any bites.
Okay.
Okay.
Down the list, the hoop house is almost done. They're trying to put the doors on. We put the plastic on Monday, which was an interesting feat with the wind that picked up on us. But we're able to get it all done, and get that on. They're putting the doors on, and then we got the batting strips to put in between just to dress it up a little bit. And that should be it for now until at some point we want to have electricity hooked up to it. But that's probably, I don't know if that's going to happen this fall or if it's not going to happen until the spring time. I'm not sure on that one. But the construction will be done. The next thing I said, we saved a few $100s on testing. Twice a year we get some groundwater testing. Eastern Analytical does it for us. In the spring and the fall they come out and they do a bunch of testing, groundwater testing that needs to be done for the state for our sewer system. And actually I was able to look, after I typed this up, I was able to look it up. We're looking more, not a few hundred, but more in the close to $3,000 range probably that we're going to save, because it's just a one-time savings. But a few months ago, if you recall, I came up talking about this pharmaceutical testing that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Well, they came out and looked, and now they're going to be coming out next week, I think, or the week after, and they're going to be doing this testing, but they're going to also test those things that we know and pay for at the same time, because it's going to be part of the stuff they're pulling. So they said they would just go ahead and take care of that for us, so we don't have to hire Eastern Analytical to come out and do it.
When do you expect the results will?
Usually they're within a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks?
After they come out. Water meters were read last week for the end of the quarter.
Excuse me, Willie. Could you do me a favor, and I would think it would help the other two commissioners? Can you take a piece of paper or make a spreadsheet and show us what buildings are metered, whether it's water or whether it's sewer, or whether we don't have sewer, but just gas and water.
Propane and water, basically?
Yeah, so that it gets confusing on which ones are which.
And I think we put that in our budget for those that don't have.
Just have that piece of paper attached, because it seems to be a frequently asked question by the delegation.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'll have that done up with the budget stuff so we can review that list, and then we'll have it to be able to submit with the delegation.
Okay.
As it stands right now, we're caught up on the bagged wood orders. I haven't gotten any calls. I'm thinking because it's Columbus Day weekend, after that most of the campgrounds start to shut down, so I think that we're pretty much done for the season. We ended up with, and I didn't put this on there, but around 10,000 bags that we did this year, which was a little lower than last year. We could have sold more if we had them, so of course we're working on that plan as we get down the list on how to better that. And now we're working on the cordwood orders pretty much.
Will, do you have any idea how many bags we missed out on?
Last year we did 13,000, or just shy of 13,000, so it's about a 2,500 to 3,000.
Well, yeah, I understand
difference.
that, but
If we would've had them, I think we could've sold them.
People call you and say, I need 1,000 bags, and you say we're out. You don't have any idea how many, other than the difference between what we did this year and last year, of how many we missed out on, because part of the discussion early on was we were gonna increase the number of bags.
Correct.
And,
And we're still trying to go that way. What it is we have 4 main state parks that we supply to, which are growing. Jericho, if anybody knows Jericho State Park up there, they're attached to the ATV trails and up and whatnot, and they're growing in leaps and bounds up there, and their demand is going up as they grow. So we have potential for growth there. Then what happens is there's 4 or 5 that the prison farm normally supplies to primarily. When they ran out of wood, we have the opportunity to sell to them. When they're going to run out of wood from year to year, I don't know. I know this year they ran out, I think it was probably the beginning of September. So our demand all of a sudden picked up, and if we would have had it in the barn, we could have been supplying to their customers. Our 4 customers, I never once put them on hold. Every time they called, they're top priority, because they're the ones we supply to every year, year in, year out. It's the other ones that if I have it, I sell it to them. If I don't, they're going to have to wait. So if I had the inventory, I could have sold a lot more to those ones, because this year the prison farm just happened to run out earlier. So it's hard for me to tell you exactly what we ran out of. If we had it in the barn, I could have pushed it and got rid of it, but
you make a pretty good politician, you know that? The question was, do you know how many people, bags we missed out on, and you had to say, no, we don't have any stock.
Oh, yeah, I'd say it's 5,000, and it wouldn't have made any difference.
Well, I wanted to have an explanation. The next line item is the cemetery. We mowed it yesterday. We finally got caught up on the wood bags at the end of the week last week, so we had some time. I sent the crew down yesterday to try to clean that up.
And the cemetery is our cemetery.
The Papa Cemetery.
Yes.
Okay.
Will, how long did it take and how many men?
I had an employee and 3 inmates down there for probably almost 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours yesterday. It was a little bit worse than normal. We try to get down there 3 to 4 times a year. It's just this year other priorities had to come first. And then as soon as we had the time and to get down there, I got them down there as soon as we could.
Will, to answer, or try to answer Mrs. Wilson's questions about why it wasn't done, how about the headstones? How many headstones we get knocked over? You got any idea?
I don't. I mean, I could go if we're looking to. In the past, we've just gone down there, mowed, and we don't do anything else down there. If the commission or the delegation wants us to get into filling these holes that I read in the paper and the knocked over, broken stones, I can go get all that information for you. It's not something we normally do. We just normally go down there and mow and that's it.
Can you make a call and find out how much it costs to put a stone back upright and put it in your budget?
Okay, and is that gonna go, am I gonna create a line item for the maintenance department for that
Under
budget?
maintenance, yeah.
And the maintenance,
Under maintenance, and create a special line item for the cemetery?
yeah.
Cemetery, a cemetery, I guess.
Or cemetery maintenance or something?
Repairs and mowing or something
Right.
like that. Be under it. Yeah, we need to take an inventory, maybe. As to what needs to be repaired.
Okay.
Are you talking about anything in general or just at the cemetery?
Inventory at the cemetery
Okay.
as to what needs to be repaired.
Okay.
And for repair, you're also talking about flattening out, back in the day, they used to build pine boxes and put the people in it. And then, of course, those rot out after so many years, and now you have a 3 to 4 inch drop. So with repair, do you want to include in there to bring in some loam and flatten that all out?
Because aren't you just either mowing it with a high set on your mower or with a weed whacker?
Right, that's what we currently do.
Filling those holes in, I think there's an additional expense that maybe we could put off for a year or two, but if you're weed whacking it and you're getting mowed out properly.
If we ever had a Boy Scout troop that was interested in doing something like that, either a scout for a Eagle Scout project, inventorying that cemetery, filling in the holes, you could drop the loam off, they could fill in the holes and reseed it.
Sure.
Be a good project for an Eagle
Would
Scout,
be.
I would think.
Would be.
Sure.
So keep that in mind, I guess.
I have, as requested 2 weeks ago when I was here, line item transfer request. Should be one for, commission transfer, I put on here, due to the lack of requested funding for line item 4193-073, which is a vehicle expense, I'm asking to transfer $1,489.57 from 4193-075, which is sand and salt, to the 4193-073. Currently, line item 4193-073 is overspent by $739.57 due to the purchase of the tire for the backhoe. In addition, $750 for the purchase of 4 new tires for the Ford one-ton plow truck completes the total for $1489.57. After this transfer, we'll still have approximately $4,274.93 left in the account of $4193,075.
And that's enough to cover salt and sand for the winter,
Well,
or most of it?
it should cover us, technically, it should cover us up through December. When we get into January, we would be
Oh, okay.
onto a new fiscal budget whenever they approve it.
I guess I gotta ask, well, why is sand and salt that expensive? When we're talking about 2 months
Right.
at the most,
Well,
maybe.
I budgeted in there, we originally started off with $8,000 that I budgeted on that line item. Because we buy the sand, the salt, the special green type stuff that we put on the sidewalks, which is very expensive when you have, a mile of sidewalk, it feels like sometimes over there at the new nursing home. And then also different gravel that we buy for the year comes out of there. For example, the apron at the jail tends to wash out after heavy rain several times throughout the summertime, so we have to buy some gravel to replace that apron. So that kind of all comes out of that account. And last year, what we used to do is each department paid for it themselves. So I consolidated that, because when we did a lot of changes last year and wanted an actual one line item for it for the whole county, I consolidated it. And then I had that amount, and from year to year, you don't know exactly what it's going to be. So I added a little bit on there last year to just make sure we would have enough to do everything. So that's something that we can probably, when we get to budget season, we might be able to play with and consider lowering a little bit if we need to.
Can you get something over to us so we can, or would you like us to go out to bid? You must, one of these items, if we got 8,000 in it, one of them's gotta be over 5,000, and we might be able to.
Well, nothing.
You
that
go
we-
to the same place, or you just pick up the phone and call somebody you know has
You get
sand
it
or
from
what?
Dow, don't you? Is it Dow?
Oh, he gets it from Dow and
Down by
Downing
the,
and,
down by the Dunkin' Donuts, don't you get
No, well,
sand from them?
Usually Jeff Downing delivers it to us.
That's who I meant, not Dow.
And we have another person also that sometimes if he's busy and can't get to us, we have two different people that we go to
Okay.
that'll deliver us the sand. And then we buy the salt by the ton and mix it by hand.
is it bagged,
Yes,
so bulk?
it's bagged. We don't have a large enough storage container area to be buying huge amounts. So usually 1 to 2 truckloads of sand at a time, and we mix it up and put it in our salt sand shed, and that pretty much fills it. So we don't have mass amounts of storage. And then the green ice melt type stuff, we buy by the ton, and sometimes we buy
Bagged
that
or bulk?
bagged also. And we buy that 2 tons at a time, usually 1 to 2 tons, depending on the time of the season.
Do you deliver that to the different facilities?
Yes. Yep.
So they store it,
No,
the bags?
we store the majority of it. I usually leave a half a dozen bags for Bob in the back storage if he needs it, but we keep the cans full. We go around every storm and fill the cans. It's more just
Okay.
for emergency for him. Same thing with Jerry. We might leave 1 or 2 down here, but we keep his can full after every storm.
Okay.
And the jail, Joe just comes over. We keep theirs in our salt shed, and he just comes over and grabs it as he needs it.
Okay.
I'll make a, how do we do this? We have to do it with a motion, or do we just agree that it's all right? suppose
I
it could
think we
be
ought to have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we transfer $1,489.50 from account number 419.075
7-3.
to 073 immediately.
Second. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
So voted then.
Thank you. The last item on that I had for the commissioners, We sent out for bid on the pole barn. We didn't receive, I also tried to send to a couple different companies, but we didn't really get anybody back for building that. And in the meantime, one of my employees had a good idea that I agreed with and that I want to present as the next option to go with, is to put an addition onto the pig barn. As we've tried to get a pig program going here, I've ran into lack of support for that, so I would like to come up with a recyclable use for that barn, which isn't being used. And we thought this wood idea would be a good place for it. We need to put an addition onto it because currently the way it is, we cannot drive a truck in there and dump wood. So to make it efficient, we need to put an addition onto it. It has advantages. Each the pole barn or the pig barn have their advantages and disadvantages. A good advantage being is this is insulated, so we could put a little wood stove in there for during the daytime when the guys are out there and it's 0 out, and we can keep bagging and hopefully bag all the way through January and February and get more inventory to sell. So I've made a little drawing. Please don't laugh at my drawing skills. I am not an architect by any means.
Somehow I knew that well.
So
It's not bad.
currently, we're kind of looking at the layout here. Currently, this is the main pig barn right here, and this is the old part that comes off of, addition off of it. And the ridge runs this way for this barn, and this barn's ridge runs this way, and it has the two valleys that come in. There is a road that goes back to our sewer treatment plant here that comes right by the edge of this barn. This is an old garage that's there. So currently in the pig barn right now, there's a garage door opening right here, but there's nothing in this space. So what I want to do is put a 20-foot by 36-foot addition, so it'll be 20 feet wide, it'll bring it right out to this road, just equal like this. Put the same type of valley pitch roof into it, so it'll be almost an image of this one, but here. And I want this to be 16 feet tall, so we can drive the truck in there with the wood. We can back it all the way up to here, and we can open it up and dump it. And we'll be able to have area to store dumped wood in here. They will bag, and then they can haul they can start stacking all the way through this area. If we need to for overflow, we can stack into this area, and then eventually they could start to fill into this area if they needed to. And it allows us to have a dry area. We need to, this area in here is all loam pretty much, and it can be wet in there at times in the spring. So in order to not have a mucky mess in there, I think when we build this barn, we need to have a proper foundation. This addition, we need to have a proper foundation with the concrete floor in it. All of the rest of this barn already has concrete floor. So it'll be matched up to that and keep us a little drier in there.
It'll require new trusses, right?
Right. Most of the materials we have for the pole barn that are out there, I can use on this. All the studding, for the most part, I can use. All the siding I can use. What I can't use is the trusses, and I tried to, but the reason I can't is from here, from this garage to this point, is 34 feet. The trusses are 34 feet, so there's no way to stick them in there and still have room for snow to come down and pile up in there. So we have to shorten the width, and 20 feet is more than sufficient. So we'll have to buy some trusses to do that. We already have the metal roofing from the pole barn that can be used into this project. And then the trusses and the concrete are the main things that we need to purchase. Everything else should be able to, for the most part, be recycled, minus miscellaneous items here and there.
So we need a floor and a short knee wall on the sides.
Correct.
And trusses.
Right. The current pig barn has up maybe 2.5, 3 feet. There's a concrete kind of wall, if you will, and then they build the wall on top of that. And I would like the same because it gets us up gets the wall up off the ground for any rod or trucks or any tractors or anything like that. If they were to bump into it, they're going to bump into a concrete and not the side of our wall. And also with the splash as it comes down, you tend to get everything rotted. So if we can have that elevated a little bit before we start building our walls.
If that's all loam in there, you're gonna have to dig that out
Yes.
and dig it out. And then if you put it out for a bid and have a contractor come in to pour the walls and the floor, you could fill that back in after they put the walls up, before they put the floor in. You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta get that loam out because the
Right.
floor will just fall to pieces if you don't
Right.
get the loam out,
We
get
might
it
have
down
to-
to something solid.
Right, and we might have to put a little gravel in there and
Yep.
rent the compactor and compact it possibly,
Yep.
depending on what the contract, what the concrete, people do that every day, they'd be able to give us
Yeah.
advice on exactly what I need to
Yeah.
do for that.
You might wanna dig, some of that out when you put it out for bid and somebody comes to look at it. Then they'll have a good idea of what's underneath the loam.
Right.
Yep.
So, I haven't gotten any prices together and everything, it's just I've changed of an idea of recycling this barn, basically, and I wanna get the feeling and the idea from the commissioners if they would like me to go forward with that, and then I'll start getting prices on all this, and we can start going out to.
Sounded like a lot better idea than putting that pole barn way out in the back. I like that one.
This whole barn here is already, in the ceiling is already currently insulated, so it stays warmer. I mean, last year we had 7 pigs in there, and the water never froze, just from their body heat of being
Yep,
in there.
yep.
So it does stay warmer if we put a wood stove in there at some point, just to burn for, a few hours if they're out there, which we get a lot of scrap in this process. We can just recycle our own scrap and keep a little, so guys can warm up their hands and stuff like that. We could probably bag a lot longer through the winter than what we could have with the pole barn, where it would be extremely cold.
Go ahead.
I think it sounds like a good idea, but my concern is that once those pig enclosures are gone inside, we will never have a chance of raising pigs here again. I think the delegation was a little bit short-sighted in their recommendation. For the time Will had it here, I think it cost the county for 2 60-watt bulbs and a little bit of electric fence, and in return, the county got $3,800 of fresh pork that Willie gave, that the nursing home didn't have to go out and buy, or food that they didn't have to go out and buy. And my only concern is if we do this, we'll never have another pig program, and I think that in the long run, we would have been better off with the revenue from raising pigs here than we will be tearing it all out. But I think overall, if we're sure there'll never be any more livestock around here, then this is the way to go.
Are those pens concrete in the piggery itself?
The main area, no, they're just
They're
wood.
wood, so that could be replaced.
Sure.
Oh, it is,
Take
they're
it
not
out.
sunk in the ground?
No.
Not that one.
Not in the main area.
Okay.
The back, the old part is concreted, but the main
Okay,
area is
yeah.
just, they started off with basically, there's pipes that help, that are concreted that we probably have to cut off, but they have 8x8
Yeah,
beams
there
in
are
there.
pipes under those wood fences that hold the wood fences up,
on the
right?
outside, so
Yeah.
like the beam is here, the pigs would be in the inside, and the pole's out here, and the beam's there to help, push. Those would have to be cut out.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything else is wooden in there.
Now, I don't know whether you've ever been thanked, Willie, but thank you for your donation of the fresh pork.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. So,
I would accept the motion to proceed with that project, and that he go out for bid for all the concrete work, bring the bids back to us.
Well, can you change it to go out to bid for all necessary items for the project? Because we've got to buy trusses. We've got to buy.
Okay, as long as we see the bids,
Yep.
fine. So, you want to make that motion?
You make it, you just made it, I'll second it.
Okay. The motion is to approve Will's plan to move forward with a addition to the piggery.
Right.
And to put out for bid this concrete work, and also the trusses. Anything over $5,000.
correct.
Okay, you second it?
Second.
You want to add anything to it?
No, that's fine.
Okay. All those in support of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so voted. I haven't looked recently, but, you know, this piece right out back here, outside the Registry of Deeds, that place where you're putting grass in, did you fill that in?
We removed all the grass the last time you asked.
You did?
We came right, Wayne came right
Yes,
over and
yes,
took care of
they
it.
did.
And put loam in there and reseeded it,
We
so you
haven't-
can mow it and keep it clean?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay,
But we did get all the
Make
grass
sure you
out there.
put up stakes and tape, because certain individuals use it for a parking area
Right.
when we have meetings.
yeah. Joe with a couple of residents from the jail could do that, I would think.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right,
Thank you. Have a good day.
thank you, Will.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
where is Commissioner Kenney? She was out in the parking lot at 25 minutes after 8.
Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe I was mistaken.
Maybe it wasn't?
I didn't actually see her. I thought I saw
Has she
her.
called and said she isn't coming?
I haven't heard anything. So, okay, Bob Murray? Good morning.
Morning, Bob.
Good morning. You are in receipt of the probation construction recommendation.
Yes.
After reviewing the bids that we opened up last week, it's my recommendation that if this project moves forward, that we move forward with Parsonage Millwork. On face value, Parsonage Millwork's initial price is higher than Excel's price, but Excel Construction did not include air conditioning, nor did it include any telephone or data wiring, which would significantly impact their price. Parsonage Millwork put a pretty comprehensive package together, and based on the information that the state provided, which in my opinion isn't quite accurate, we had to make some assumptions that Parsonage Millwork's price is a responsible price, and we should move forward with that.
Well, at this point, we don't have to vote on anything. It's the recommendation. At least we know which one we're gonna have to use when we begin to negotiate with the state over leasing them the space. And we're not gonna do it and then not have the probation move here. So all this was for us to come up with a figure that we
Well-
could use for a lease. But I
We
mean,
could do that, or we could accept the recommendation
well, yeah, why don't we make a
and wait
motion to
for-
accept the,
and wait for the delegation to
right?
approve of the lease.
I'll make a motion, we accept the Parsonage Millwork quote of $58,375 to renovate the old nursing home when and if we secure the probation department as a tenant.
As a renter?
Hmm?
As a renter?
Wouldn't that be a
Okay.
tenant? I don't know.
I'll second it. Did Parsonage Millwork say how long it would take to do the work?
Verbally, we anticipate about a month.
So if the delegation would approve it by next week, they would, they'd have the month of November to, a little
The-
more than
the backs are
5
against
weeks
the wall.
to do it.
Yeah, their backs are against the wall.
Okay.
Once we give them the okay, then it has to go through the executive council to be approved. So they've got some weight on their end too.
What do you mean?
We can't.
Has to go through the delegation, that's it.
No, but then it has to be approved, I believe all leases are approved by the executive council at the state level. In fact, I'm 99% sure they are.
Well, has nothing to do with us, though.
No, except we can't cut those 2 weeks out of the calendar and pretend they aren't there. They have to be in here by December 1st.
Right.
So what it comes down to is we can't stand around and we can't sit on our hands.
No, but as far as getting a lease approved through the state, that's up to the state.
Right.
You have been trying to call.
I have called, she's called me back, we just haven't connected, and when I do, I'll go down and negotiate with her.
Okay. Okay, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so voted. So we'll wait to hear from the state if they're interested in, we need to figure out what the square footage is and how much a square foot, what it's gonna cost the state to make up for the renovation and the rent. And once that is agreed upon, then we'll go back, let the chairman of the delegation know, and they'll hold a meeting. Could be by phone or whatever, but we need to send that to them in advance. So we'll wait and see what happens.
Okay.
You got anything else?
No, nothing to report on that I haven't already reported on in the last couple of days.
Okay.
Other than,
I think- go ahead.
Other than demolition at the old nursing home is progressing.
What's happening?
They've,
What's the status now?
well, the status is the roof has been removed, all the utilities have been severed. They're starting to remove the metal parts, old cabinetry, the metal cabinetry. They're taking it apart piece by piece.
Mhm.
The structure is still standing, but they're getting ready to start knocking it down.
Okay. Any damage done to the shrubbery around it?
No, not yet. There's one or two bushes that are up close to the building that may not survive, but 99% of what's out there will be untouched.
Okay. And the laundry?
The laundry is 95% finished. They're back working in the laundry. We're just waiting for a couple of parts to come
Are
in.
they still using the jail?
No, we used the jail for exactly 4 weeks, what we'd predicted. The jail was very gracious and helpful in getting us through that event. We thank the jail very much for their efforts. Couldn't have done it without them.
I suggested to someone else the other day that write a little note to the jail.
I have.
You have?
I have.
Thank you.
It's been done.
We need to do more of that type of thing. Are you satisfied with the work in the laundry?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
The work has been done fine. I think the folks who run the laundry over there are equally happy.
Mhm.
It's-
When those two wings are taken down, what's going to be your entrance to the laundry from the new nursing home?
The same entrances that we have used in the past.
You didn't go through one of the wings.
Yeah, we did. We have a designated entrance, an official entrance.
In the rehab, which is going to be rebuilt, that wall's going to be rebuilt? No?
Yes, on
Okay.
on A wing,
Yeah,
right at the nurses' station where they're severing the old
yeah.
the old A wing. There'll be a double door put there. And when we walk laundry back and forth, and days when it's nice out, we'll be going through that door.
Okay.
But the days that we use the truck, we'll be using the back door. So we'll essentially be
Okay.
using the same traffic pattern that we've used in the past.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
That's it.
that's it. Thank you
Thank
very
you, Bob.
much.
Thank you.
Howie?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Just a couple of things to bring you up to date on. Census today is 102, which is functionally full. So we've had a lot of admissions, a lot of discharges as we move towards increased number of skilled skilled or rehab-based admissions. So things are going well on that score. Want to echo what Bob said in terms of thanking Jason for not just his help with giving us temporary use of his laundry, but in terms of guest support in some projects that we've had. And that thanks also extends to Will and Wayne, who have been wonderful about dealing with special requests. We had family picnic day, and they came in and cut the front lawns and the courtyard lawns. And we had a safety issue that came up last week with a tripping hazard that they immediately jumped on the sidewalk and fixed, and it looks great. So they've been remarkably cooperative, and it's much appreciated. The question that I have for you this morning is, as part of our budget for this year, we had approved the purchase of additional security systems, essentially cameras, but also the computer part that goes with it. And I wanted to get your direction for whether, we definitely need to go out for bid for it. What I want your clarification on is whether we need to, there are about 4 or 5 qualified bidders that I know of. I've checked with other county homes. Whether or not you also want it to go into the newspaper, or whether you want me just to solicit from 4 or 5 qualified bidders.
Gotta put it in newspaper.
Then that will be done.
Newspaper, on our website,
Then it will be done.
standard
No, that's,
locations.
it's just trying to save the expense of newspaper
I know.
advertising, but I didn't want to make any
I
assumptions,
know,
so.
yeah. That's an expense we just have to bite.
And that's actually all I have for you. Our new director of nursing starts next Tuesday, Laurie Tatro. So, with your permission, I'd like to bring her to the meeting next week to introduce you.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to having her. But Patty and Megan have been doing a wonderful job on an interim basis in between. And so we're not just holding still. They've been actively moving forward. We started having charge nurse meetings. Met this morning with the night staff. Yesterday with the day staff, and be meeting later today with the evening staff along with Megan. So we're moving forward.
Okay. How did the picnic go?
Picnic from all report, it was decided early to bring it inside. And which calls into question, and we have to evaluate whether or not having it outside is worth the expense of planning. Because with the cost of the tent and everything else, you have to call into question whether that makes sense. So we haven't sat down to evaluate it, but I think when the dust settles, we might be looking at having a fall event. But knowing that we can't count on the weather, and because of the expense of the tent, whether or not we might want to bring it inside.
Why have a fall one? Why not have a summer one?
Well, we looked at that. We had a number of other summer events, and so the goal was to have one event per month, and we had the farm day, and we had another event. So we could do that, but even in the summer, we're still subject to rain and wind, and whether or not, how important it is to go outside, or how better could we spend that money on decorations and program on the inside.
I can remember going to a picnic a number of years ago, and it was down on, I want to say, is it 109A? Is it Wentworth State Park?
Yep.
Yeah.
Down there, right on the water. And that was outside. I don't remember a tent. There could have been. But that was done in the summertime when the weather was better. And if it was bad on that particular day, you held it the following week. But anyway, I think that's a transportation problem, but on the other hand, it may be good to get the residents out some other location for a picnic. Anyway.
We do actually, Susan does coordinate a number of outings to the beach, to the Allen A Beach.
Yeah.
And also we had a wonderful opportunity offered to us from the Ossipee Valley Rotary Club, and one of their members made available pontoon boat trips on Ossipee Lake.
Oh, really?
So we actually, through Susan and her staff, get our residents out a tremendous amount of time.
I know that may go into the newsletter, and I don't read all the newsletters, but I do read some of them. That might be something that
Susan could report to us on what activities, how many people participated, where did they go, what did it cost, any information like that, that would be nice if we knew about it, so that if we gave a talk somewhere, we would be up to date on what's happening at the nursing home, where the residents are going, that kind of a thing.
I think that'd be well taken.
Yeah.
Have been pushing and have had great actually, cooperation from the newspapers with getting press releases out
Mhm.
of different things that go in, because we want to recognize the people who come in and do something. Last week, we got recognition from Mirror Lake Church and also for the Bald Peak Community Fund. And both those pictures and news releases were published. And
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
try to support those people who are supporting us. So, but the idea of getting a formal report monthly, I think, is a good idea.
And that might include volunteers,
That
number of
program,
volunteers,
that
or
program-
names of
well,
volunteers.
that program is taking off. John Babson is doing a great job with that, so we're getting, we had, with the, well, I guess case in point with Freiburg Fair, we had a number of residents go, we had 11 residents go to Freiburg Fair, and I think we had 5 or 6 volunteers go with them.
Yeah.
We actually had more volunteers than we've ever had before,
Yeah.
which allows for a greater one-on-one contact and support.
I normally see him over Freiburg Fair. I didn't see him this year.
They were there on, would have been
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we're gonna have you come back. I'm not sure what this 10:15 non-public personnel is about, but we need to do an evaluation on you today, which was scheduled for today. Now, what is the one that's scheduled for 9:30? That's you. Are you also scheduled for one at 10:15? He has 2 of them?
David, why don't we just add the numeral onto the 91 whatever, and we can discuss both of those things with
They're the
Jason
same, they're the
while he's
same.
here.
I'm just wondering if it's the same subject.
Two subjects.
2 different subjects. Okay. All right, then we'll get back in touch with you when it'll be the end of the day, or the end of our agenda this morning
Well,
for evaluation.
Whenever you need me, I'll be
Okay,
ready.
we'll get in touch with you. Don't leave the premise.
No, I won't be far away.
Okay.
I have a cell phone if you'd like.
What's that?
I have a cell phone if you'd like. I can hold them.
Okay, Jason, all right.
I will make a motion that we
My
go,
public is, are you guys?
What's that?
Only public, I don't have.
You get some public?
Anything public except
Okay.
for-
oh, you do, okay.
No, I don't, except
He
for,
doesn't.
unless you guys
Okay.
are doing the roof.
Huh?
Say it again?
Unless you're opening the roof bids.
Thought he just
Sure.
said he did.
No, he said he doesn't.
Where do we stand on the roof?
You have all the bids that I have.
We have.
We're waiting for, we were gonna get one more bid from
Oh, I didn't bring it up.
the company that's wrecking the building. And,
So, I haven't-
and they haven't got it yet, and so that leaves us with 2 bids.
You have that handy with you or not?
No, they're both downstairs. And
I put it in an envelope
Sealed
for you
envelopes
down on
downstairs.
a manila folder for you, David, on your desk. You,
I've got a lot of manila folders here. Okay.
So we get 2 bids. We want to open up these?
those,
Is that the idea?
I have one from Prime Roofing.
Prime Roofing and from
Yes,
Bluestone?
Bluestone Incorporated?
yes.
They would do today, or past due?
Way past it.
Okay.
We put it out a couple times.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch is what I say too. Okay, from Prime Roofing, the bottom line is $11,452. What's yours?
A little bit more than that. Bluestone from New Boston, New Hampshire. They want to replace the whole roof, and they're at a paltry $174,000.
What?
$900. $174,900.
That's to cover the whole roof,
That's to
right?
do the whole roof.
Well, I don't think we're gonna do that. This one is to supply and install metal needed to replace 100 feet of 15-inch wide expansion cap located above the firewall. This is all itemized, $2,343. Supply and install 15 new lead ring boots where needed, $750. Supply and install 6-inch wide outside splice cap over horizontal ridge lines, starting with 40 pieces, $1,258. Clean and caulk edges, valley seams, remove fasteners, replace with rubber garment screws, and seal underside of ridge cap trim. This includes 4 men for 2 days, $4,511. An 80-foot boom lift will need to be rented in order to safely complete the work. 1 week rental is $2,590.
Is that included in that price, or is that extra?
Caulking was $4,511.
The crane, are
That's-
we renting the crane, or are they renting the?
They're renting it.
Okay.
For $11,452. This proposal may be withdrawn if not accepted within 60 days and is dated July 31st. So we're right at the edge.
They've extended it more than once.
They did?
Yeah, I've been here since
Okay.
all the way from the summer time, whatever.
Okay, we have the settlement balance with the jail walls of $35,987. So there is money there to do the $11,452.
Can we use that money?
Why not?
I don't know. I'm fairly new here, that's why I'm asking the question.
This happens to deal with the wall of the jail, the settlement that we took. It's in escrow or carryover. Have you seen, you haven't seen this bid? Have you talked to these
Oh,
people?
I've seen both bids, yes.
Okay. Is this going to do the job
I believe so.
where the leaks are?
They actually put a bid in, what I found, they put a bid in last year to do it with the leaks. Again, this year, they actually walked the entire roof, they've taken pictures, they've been up there with Joe Boyd. They seem to know, I mean, I would assume it would take care of the issues that we have.
Yeah.
I don't think we need a whole new roof.
No, I don't think we need a whole new roof. What do you think?
Well, we've got 2 bids, one's for $174,000 and one's for $11,000. One is a whole new roof, and the other one is to repair what we have there. I think it makes sense to repair what we have here.
Bluestone Incorporated did do this roof, and we haven't had any problems. But we're not gonna pay $174,000.
I don't know, I wasn't here when you built the jail, David, but it would seem to me that the guarantee on the roof ought to be more than 9.5 years.
No,
What
it's
I found
12.
was 1 year guarantee and 10 years on the metal sheen, but not for leaking purposes, is what I found.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you find, Jason?
It's
Um,
1 year on the warranty on the roof, and then 10 years on like the metal itself, not to wear, but there's nothing that says about leaking or anything along the lines, so just 1 full year of guaranteed work, basically.
And, I forget what I was gonna say. The jail is, what did we figure, 12 years?
12 years old, going on 13.
12 years going on 13. So the 10-year warranty is going by.
Well, frankly, I'm willing to take the risk.
I am too. It's gotta be repaired, it's leaking.
I'll make a motion, we accept the Prime Roofing Corporation from New Ipswich. Their bid to repair the roof of the jail per their quote, which is for, where's the total here? $11,452.
Second. Any further discussion? All those for the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so ordered. You contact them and have them get moving. We got 10, 8, 14.
What was the total in the settlement account? I have $35,900.
And $87.
Thank you.
Okay? All right.
Thank you.
That's, anything else for public?
No, sir.
I do.
Go ahead.
Well, we have them here on the worksheet. The only 2 items for the House of Correctional roof repair, we just took care of that. The other one is contract for Rockingham female offenders. Where are we?
I haven't seen one. I talked to Superintendent Church last Friday and asked him again when we were down at the meeting, so still waiting on Superintendent Church.
What?
I'll call him again.
Fill me in, what's the female offenders from Rockingham?
Yeah, they don't hold females. They
They
send
don't,
'em-
Rockingham doesn't?
No,
They send them out. So
Really?
he's gonna do a contract with us and send us a few, and work with us.
Okay. You haven't heard anything from the U.S. Marshals regarding?
Just that one email I sent you that it's
Your plan.
being reviewed.
Hmm?
Just that one email I forwarded to the commissioners that it's being reviewed. That's all I've heard.
Being reviewed,
And
okay,
I talked to the superintendent, said it takes 2, 3, 4 weeks before they get back to you. So
okay.
they're not exactly quick.
Okay, under the non-public, we got that scheduled before the work session, but is that gonna take long? Is that something we can go across the hall and do and leave everybody here? Tell me, I don't know what's going on, so,
Yes.
all right. You wanna make a motion to go in non-public?
I'll make a motion that we go into non-public for 91A3, paragraph 2A, and
Personnel?
personnel. Where is personnel? Emergency, security, negotiation.
It's under dismissal, promotion, or compensation.
Okay.
It's one of those? Okay.
Okay.
You made the motion.
That's all we
I'll
need.
Second it. You keep the minutes, so you want to make a roll call?
Yeah, Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Babson?
Yes.
Okay, then so voted. So.
Do we have Cheryl come up?
Yeah. We'll go across the hall, so you don't have to leave. Take care of this one, and we'll come back to our work session. And then we'll go back in the non-public for another reason. I'll make a motion that we come out of non-public and go into public.
Seconded.
All those for the roll
Vote.
call?
Commissioner
Yes.
Sorensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Babson?
Yes, yes.
Did you seal the
in-
minutes?
We sealed the minutes in the other room.
Yes, we did. We sealed the minutes. We we took action and approved the recommendation from the interim superintendent of the jail to terminate a correctional officer. We also took action, as we've been talking over the past 3, maybe 4 weeks now, of compensating people who fill a position that is required to be filled. And we have 3 of those that I'm aware of. Superintendent of the jail, director of the nursing home, and the director of nurses, the DON. Those 3 positions are required to be filled, and those are the ones that would be compensated for. So we did compensate Jason Henry for filling in as interim when Jason Johnson resigned. He will be evaluated again in December. Okay? Anything else you want
Nope,
to
that's
mention about
fine.
it? Okay. All right, we're into work session.
The nepotism policy, Ms. I asked Commissioner Kenney to bring it in this week. Talked to Lynette about it. I don't know whether she has or she hasn't. We can't approve the minutes because she isn't here.
Has Commissioner Kenney talked with you about the policy? No.
Okay?
So we don't
Well-
have any policy to talk about,
No.
okay?
And when she gets here, if she ever does, we should, if she's gonna make these statements, she ought to, and she doesn't wanna work with human resources, she ought to bring in her own, and maybe she has one, we don't know.
Okay.
Number 3 is for Ed. Ed, 3 or 4 weeks ago, told us his machine was off. It was on and he recorded it and it went out. And I asked him at the time if that was legal because the meeting had been adjourned and it was no longer a public meeting. And he said there's been case law that it was all right, and he was going to bring me in the material, the number of the case, and I haven't seen that yet, Ed. I'd like to see it.
I believe I emailed it to you and I also posted it on Facebook.
You did?
Facebook, to me, Facebook doesn't mean anything. That's your own personal stuff. But if you told Commissioner Babson you were going to bring it in, then this is the meeting where you should report on it.
Okay, I will email that to you.
Will you send it to Gmail so that I
The
make sure I
Gmail
get it?
account, yes,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you, Ed.
You got another item?
On the last item is, we gave Ed I think we did, the grant in the grant
Oh.
review committee for the booze checks, driving stop checks.
Stop checks with the sheriff's department?
That was
Yeah.
for purchasing
Radar.
radar detectors for the cruisers,
That's right,
is what the grant's for.
that's
Oh,
right.
that's right, okay. yeah,
On this
I had
one,
it.
on
That-
this highway safety one.
I just made a
One was
note
for
here,
the
and that's. I
dispatch
was
center,
wrong.
right? And one was for the radar.
Right.
Any action taken?
We still have to meet.
You what?
We still have to meet. because
Yeah, still have to
There's
meet.
questions that have to be answered before we meet, so we can
Okay.
address the answers that we get.
Was there a time limit on it?
Well, in no way, since this is a new process that we're trying to put together,
Yep,
in no way are we going to hold up the process of grants.
okay.
But we need to come up with a formal process so it can better assist you in making decisions.
Okay,
We'd like your input, so, I realize if you get it and then you gotta give us an answer in 3 days like we got in the last one, you probably can't do that, but, if you get some time, if you can get them together and, or have them look it over, and I don't know how you're gonna operate, but come back with your recommendations.
I'd say just be concerned about looking at the grant to see if there's a time limit on it.
Yep.
And then act accordingly, okay.
My first question was to ask the sheriff about the data collection, which Commissioner Babson did ask him. We didn't get a clear answer on that yet, so that is one.
Was this last week?
Yeah, there's a statement in there about collecting data that, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, that has to do, as long as collecting that data has to do with the grant, which opens it up to any number of reasons that they can check, and we wanted to know what the data collection parameters were or are.
It
Right.
seems very broad to me when
Yes.
you read the statement. And if it involves Homeland Security, there may be state legislation that passed this year which prevents some data collection by the federal government, and maybe there isn't. But that was just one question. The Homeland Security Administration actually has their own grant review committee called the GRC. So they follow a procedure when they get a grant that we apply for.
Yep.
And we would like to see what that process is, so we could perhaps, marry the two processes up and then have it more streamlined. But there are several things Homeland Security should be explaining to you in these grants, and it doesn't seem clear in the grant.
Ed, I don't know if I agree with you on that. It's up to us to take the grant, if the grant is something that is useful to us. What they do at Homeland Security, that's their responsibility. But where it affects us, I think, is our responsibility, what we're going to use that grant for. And if data collection, we shouldn't be collecting certain stuff, well, that's what we should be concerned about.
The
Okay?
reason to review these grants and to assist you in making that decision is
Yep.
there may be assurances in the grant that you were not aware of, and if you just sign it, you're signing onto agreements that you weren't aware of. So that's why it's important. So even though Homeland Security says they're going to give you money, you need to do the due diligence and understand the assurances of those
Yeah.
grants.
What the fine lines are.
Exactly.
Okay, I agree with that. Yep,
That's the sole purpose for the grant review committee.
okay, all right. Thank you.
That's it for me. We got.
Did we accept all the minutes?
Somehow, somewhere along the way, we didn't do the September 10th minutes approval.
You don't have a copy of those by any chance?
I
do
do.
you?
You do?
Writing small, but there they are. Those haven't been approved yet.
Well, let's keep them and we'll review them. We'll make sure that that's number one for next. Did you make a note that number one for next week will be to accept these or
Okay.
not approve these minutes?
I'll have,
On the
send you
worksheet,
another copy.
excuse me, Melissa, go ahead.
No, I just said I would send another copy of the 10
Okay.
to all of you.
On the worksheet, the only thing I can see here that we've been kicking around and should get done is you, David, and that's, you were gonna contact the Ossipee Rotary to see about the trail.
Which I did.
Oh, you did do that, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I talked with, I can never remember that person's name.
Male, female?
It was a female.
Talked with her. Okay, that's all I have.
And I got a message back saying that if I'd like to attend one of their meetings to go in more detail, I was welcome to attend.
Okay.
Okay, we did the renovation, we did the,
We had it isn't on here, but under the work session, we had to get our awareness of fraud that goes along with the audit. We had to get that over there, and the holdup was, last week was Commissioner Kenney, and she got hers there, so we're all set there, and we should be getting results of the audit pretty quickly, I would think. Except that there's.
so let's clarify that now a little bit for me. The financials are done for 2010.
Yep.
And this was the final information for the audit
Yes.
for 2010.
And they sent us, Melissa needed the name of it, I got it here somewhere. And Kathy responded, and then they sent back more questions, and, no, maybe it's downstairs, but as soon as that gets completed, we should have the audit finally for 2010.
And then he moves on to 2011 and
Then
12.
we've been promised it would go quickly. So I make a motion that we go into non-public
Well, before we do that, what, for non-public for what?
for Howie's review.
No, I think we need to go into public input.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're
We'll go
right.
into public input, and then we'll go into non-public, and we won't come back into public. Well, we'll come back into public, but we have no agenda. Okay?
I have
So,
a- I have a couple things if you don't
all right,
mind.
go ahead.
I have on the, one of the things on the action list is reviewing the August 2014 bank account reconciliations to see if that new form is working that you instituted.
Thank you. I've got that form and it's still on the computer and get printed out, and I'll have to get that going, because we agreed that August would be the starting month, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, yes, so thank you.
Yep. I had a question about the pole barn, the insurance settlement.
Yep,
Does it pay out if you do something different?
yes.
Or do you have to
Yes.
reconstruct?
10,000 is payout for something different.
Okay. And the other money that, if it's done, there's other money, depreciation money, that you get if you complete it by a certain date?
Yes,
Within 2 years of it falling down?
no,
It was like another $3,000.
That I am not sure of. I don't know if we're gonna get that, because we are changing it from a pole barn to a different structure.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna get that $3,000,
So you can still
but we do
use-
have the 10,000 already.
And you can use that money to.
Yep.
Okay. And
Anything else?
I had a question about when the 2013 audit and financials is going out to bid.
My recommendation is that we wait until the 2011 and 2012 is completed, and that's all I want to say about it.
Okay. And then you'll be looking
That
at.
the financials and the audits of 2011 and 2012 are completed. Then we will look at
then we'll go out for
2013.
bid for 2013.
I don't want to start on something that we have still unfinished.
And the county has a bidding policy, right?
Yep.
No,
All right, I just wanted to add that to my pile. Okay, thank you.
Are we up to date on the non-public records?
I haven't, last week there was discussion that Commissioner Kenney isn't able to open the safe.
no, I
I
can
opened
answer
this-
that, no, it isn't, we're not up to date. David got the safe open for us
I opened
this week.
it up yesterday and she took
We
stuff out.
should have been
and-
completing that today if you were here.
Okay, so to answer your question, no. No,
Okay.
it's not. It hasn't been returned to
No.
me yet, so I'm just hopeful that it will happen soon.
I opened the safe for her. And I know she took stuff out. And she has a combination of the safe, so I showed her how to open it 3 times. Anything else you got?
No? I'd like to move
Non-public? Anybody?
Public.
Public.
I mean public. It's okay? Public input. Yes, Mr. Brown?
How many bids for, that did you receive for probation?
For what?
Probation? And how much was the bid that was awarded?
There were 2 bids, we received 2 bids, and we haven't awarded anything, but we've recommended that if the delegation agrees with whatever is negotiated for rent, it will go to parsonage millwork at $58,375.
That's a lot of money.
I agree.
How about, Excel? Did anybody contact Excel about getting a bid for the roof of the jail?
Yes,
And they didn't bother?
they came up and walked it, we haven't heard from them in 3 weeks, and they know we needed the bid.
Did anybody follow up with them?
What more do you have to do is tell them what the date is, they gotta get it in, and they don't send it. I think we did our job.
They missed the date. We haven't received anything. So, anything further? Okay. Yes, Ed?
A few weeks ago, you signed an agreement for the water testing.
Right.
Today, we were told that they're going to go beyond that.
They're going beyond that because we normally would have a test done. They're going to do that test as well. So we're not going to have somebody else come in to do the test.
I'm not sure we went beyond it, Ed, to answer your question. We were doing these tests
All along.
by letting them come in and, as you would say, or I would say, go beyond and do this extra step. They include what we were paying for previously to an outside concern in their investigation, in their
Analysis.
analysis. So they really haven't gone outside what has happened. We're not going to pay $3,000 for the
Extra.
tests that we ordinarily get, because it's going to be included in what we approved 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I think it's normally done twice a year,
Yeah, it is.
so.
Another question.
Yeah.
Did the delegation appropriate the amount of money that was left over for the wall of the jail?
Did they appropriate it?
Yeah, was that,
They didn't appropriate it. That was something that was a settlement agreement with Granger. I think it was
Northern Granger.
Northern Granger. That was way back.
it was my understanding that the delegation has to appropriate money for you to be able to expend it. I guess my question is, I'm not clear if you're able to actually expend that 11,000?
Yep,
Do we know for sure we can?
we did.
Oh, did.
And my last question is, why is there a concern over the camera being left on for 3 minutes after the meeting ended? There seems to be,
My concern is that
Focus
you
on
came to us and told us it was off, and it wasn't. By the time I got downstairs, there was a person sitting in the office saying, you know, that whole discussion, which I thought was more of a private nature with you, was not on the, was on the tape and being broadcast.
well, just to make it clear, the large camera was off, and I did tell you last week.
Yes, you
that
did.
I accidentally left the other camera on. I wasn't even pointing in our direction. I just forgot that camera up on top was on.
Yeah.
So there was no
Okay.
intent to do it.
Well, all we're saying is,
We accept.
I'd like to see that, and you said you'd send it to me, and you say you have, and I'll get another, you'll send it again, is that once the meeting is closed, whether it be this meeting or any else, I would think that at that point, filming public figures is no longer an automatic.
And the email and that case will.
You say it,
will
prove that.
Prove that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we've gone through public input. The next item is non-public for personnel, and also Mr. Chandler's evaluation, which we'll do in non-public.
Yep.
So,
I'll make a motion that we go to non-public under RSA 91A.3, paragraph 2, quotation, parentheses A. And that would be personnel.
that's dismissal, promotion, or compensation. I would say that we also do RSA 91A32C, because the evaluation would likely affect adversely the reputation of
Okay?
the person other than a member of the public body. Okay? So those two items we'll take up next.
That didn't sound very good.
What's that?
No, it didn't.
That didn't sound
No,
good at
that
all.
didn't sound good, David.
Well,
Might adversely affect his job as if he's done something wrong.
that's what it says.
I
I'm
know.
only going by the law.
No, that's probably the appropriate section. It just didn't
You know,
sound
maybe,
good.
maybe if Ed gets elected, he could put in some legislation that might make it possible for us to have legally, because I don't see it here, a non-public meeting to evaluate somebody. I don't think it's anybody's business what our evaluation of any employee is here.
I would suggest also, if Ed gets elected, that under non-public, meetings, that some penalty be placed there. Right now,
No penalty.
there's no penalty. So, yes, we're non-public, we're not supposed, nothing's supposed to go out of this room, but it does, there's no penalty. I would give that to you to
Make
look
that a
into.
second bill you can put in there.
I have a whole list at home.
We'll add
I'll add that
those two.
to it, okay?
I do have to commend you for how you've been going in and out of public and non-public. I'll commend you on how you've been doing it
At
lately.
least we're trying to do it right.
Yes.
We always was, but always were.
Oh, we were.
Okay.
Do you second that?
Second it. All those in support of the motion of going into non-public for,
No, we gotta have a roll call.
Commissioner
I mean,
Sorensen?
roll call, go ahead.
She just called your name, bud.
Yeah.
what?
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Babson?
Yes.
See, I get all frustrated here. Okay,
10:28?
10:28.
motion passes, we're now in non-public. We seal the minutes.
Did Howie's evaluation sealed the minutes?
We make a motion, we go back into public.
Yep.
I make that a motion, we go back into public.
Seconded,
Any further discussion? Roll call?
yes.
Yes. Okay, we're now back in public. We did Howie's evaluation, and we sealed the minutes of the non-public session. His evaluation goes into his personnel file, and let the record show that 2 commissioners have filled out his evaluation. The same is true for the evaluation of the interim superintendent, that only 2 commissioners filled out his evaluation as well. So with that said, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
We did say we sealed the minutes, right? Didn't we?
Yes, you did.
Okay. You make a motion that we adjourn? I'll second it. All those in support of the motion say aye,
Aye.
and so voted.